husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, just as the church is subject to Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. That's it. There we are. Trusting God. God knows what's best for us. He can help us as we navigate this complexity of things that are going on, this partnership with humanity and grace, humility and grace. When we allow God to guide a marriage, we celebrate a solid foundation on which both partners can thrive. Is that not true? Related verses, 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1. Likewise, you wives, be subject unto your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may be without the word, be won by the conversation of their wives. That's 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1. Then Ephesians 5 and 25, which we read, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. That's a pretty long introduction, isn't it? It's pretty long, but that's what it's all about. If we stopped right there and I didn't say anything else, we would have the framework and the groundwork and the direction for a perfect marriage. But the problem is, I got to have a drink of water. The problem is, we don't want to obey God. We don't want to do what God asks us to do. Remember that God's instructions are not grievous, are they? His instructions to us are not grievous. They're easy and light. What's it say in Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 and 30? Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest in your soul, for my yoke is easy and my burden's light. The commandments of God are not grievous, no matter what we're saying they are, no matter what they're asking us to do. And so if we walk down the path with God has laid out for us as a people, as a church, as humanity, as a family, if we walk down those paths, if we do just what he says to do, that's the hard thing to do, and just what he said to do. But if we do that, we will experience the most loving and peaceful and richest and fullestness of life that is imaginable. Just think of all the blessings that are out there, and we don't claim them. We don't grab them, and so we do that, and I think this is doubly true for the husband and wife, for they have the companionship of each other, don't they? Do we not have the companionship of each other? And just as well as the Lord, the wife is to walk in spiritual submission. Well, I hope we've already got that cleared out. That does not mean that he's going to rule over you. That does not mean you're going to cow down and just not have any opinion or anything like that. It does not mean that. It means we are co-equal. We are the same. When you're in marriage, we are co-equal. In fact, we're to become one flesh, aren't we? We're to become one flesh. And so, so the wife is to walk and the husband is to love the wife. We get those two things together and marriage is going to work. It's going to work. I'm not saying no, I ain't even going there. Just go on. To submit to God's will, it's a commandment of God, isn't it? That's what he's telling us to do. Commit to him. There's no argument, not even a question about it, is it? Wives, submit to your husbands. But, God is God, and as God, he has a right to demand anything he wants, doesn't he? He has a right to do that. I'm not saying he does.